Investor Intelligence provides general information only. You should consider seeking independent advice to see how this information relates to your unique circumstances. Please refer to the terms and conditions available at investorintelligence.com.au for more.
Welcome to this week's episode of Investor Intelligence, the weekly podcast on all things investment, hosted by me, Jacob Kearns. We've got an extra special episode this week. It's a two-part investor journey, with the first part being recorded by our previous host Phoebe around this time last year, and the second part being recorded by me about a year later, following up on their journey. So I hope you enjoy this one. It's a great episode and a great story, and I'll catch you again next week.
For today's episode, I have for you our fifth investor's journey, as alongside mentoring our valued members, we also love to celebrate and share their wins, show how far they've come, and hear about their goals. We find this has been a super effective way for our listeners to hear stories that may be similar to their circumstances in order to inspire them. We also find a lot of people share the same goals, so when you hear how well others have done to achieve them, it can be that little bit of extra inspiration for people wanting to do the same. So our investors for today are Luke and Laura. They're my first couple on the podcast who, during their time here at the Property Mentors, have been guided and mentored by the wonderful Malika. Malika could not be more excited to get Luke and Laura on the podcast to share their journey, as at the time of recording, they've only been members for around 6 months, but with hard work and letting go of fears that naturally occur when starting any journey, they've already achieved all of their goals for 2022. So I wanted to sit down with them in order to hear how they overcame those fears, because I know others listening will be in the same boat. They also, in addition to reading and loving Property Fit, which as you would know by now is Luke Harris's latest book, there was actually another very cute reason as to why they initially knew that the Property Mentors were who they wanted to get in touch with in order to seek guidance. So make sure you listen out for that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this chat. Here's Luke and Laura. So Luke and Laura, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming into the studio today and being my first couple on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So to start off, and before we talk about anything to do with investing or portfolios, I want to know a little bit more about you guys. So, you know, what you do for work, that could be hobbies, a little bit more where you're currently based. Laura, I'll start with you.
Well, I am an architect. I have been for 8 years.
Wow.
I'm very interested in construction and the built environment. Hobbies, we love to travel, and we're very into water sports. So we're very into wakeboarding, also into snowboarding and snow skiing. It's actually what we're going to do for our honeymoon next year.
Oh my God, how exciting. Wow, thrill seekers.
Yeah, going to Whistler for a couple of weeks, so that'll be nice.
Beautiful.
And then in terms of where we're based, we're in the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Been there our whole lives. That's kind of, where we grew up. But we do have plans eventually. We want to live by the beach, so
I love
whether
that.
that's in Melbourne or who knows where it will take us. But
fantastic.
Yeah.
And Luke?
So pretty normal childhood from the beginning. Same thing from the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Normal high school, primary school, but school I was not very good at. There's something I did, the whole learning on a chalkboard, them trying to remember it and do a test at the end of the day was not my thing. I just kind of bluffed my way through high school, got through VCE. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to uni, but I wasn't smart enough. So I ended up
wanted to be an architect.
I wanted to be an architect at some stage.
Wow.
Probably
but
why we bonded.
wasn't getting the results.
Okay.
Then did a trade, so electrician from 18. And then, what am I, 31 now, so 13 years I've been an electrician, had my own business for the last
nearly 6 years
now.
Oh, fantastic.
So got a couple of boys. And then, we're here. So me and Laura met when we were 15.
Yeah.
Oh,
now,
wow.
So we've been together 15 years.
Yeah.
Get married probably be
In 3 weeks.
We will be married.
3
by the time
weeks.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
10th.
God.
So
When this
whenever-
podcast
yeah.
comes out, we'll probably already be married.
There
Took
you
him
go.
long enough.
okay.
Wasn't sure. But, so we bought a house when we were 23,
Yeah, I was
24.
22.
So pretty
Yeah.
young, but Laura was still at uni, so she was only working 1 day a week.
No, I was working 3 and doing uni at
3.
night time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we
Um,
always had big goals to like get into the property market,
Yeah.
get started. And obviously, you were
Yeah.
doing pretty well for yourself, so that helped.
But I was still a 3rd or 4th year apprentice, I think,
Yeah.
at the time. So
Yeah.
obviously save a deposit. Even like when I was 18, I don't know where it came from, but kind of just flicked a switch and I'd work from 7 till 4 as an electrician. And then from 5 till midnight, I'd work in a factory.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, as a first year Sparky, you'd only get, I was getting $290 a week take home.
Yeah.
So nothing. So
Nothing. Yeah.
obviously worked pretty hard. Worked, like I said, 4 till midnight or something.
You just
then
grind until
just
you get what you
grind
want.
and-
Yeah.
Obviously, use that money for deposit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Obviously, we did the
And-
normal 18-year-old stuff, partying and
Traveled.
and bought cars and sold cars and stuff like that. But money's always
But you never did it stupidly.
no.
And when we bought our first house, we had someone rent a room.
Okay.
So
okay.
we weren't like,
So you had
we're
help,
just
yeah.
buying the best suburb and we were like, did
But
it
it took
smart.
us,
We
like,
bought where
a year.
we didn't ideally want to live, but we're like, this is a good investment.
to
We'll
be,
renovate
yeah.
it. We'll
Do you still have that house?
No, we sold it 2 years
2
ago
years
now for a decent profit
Cool.
to buy our next property, which we live in now, which is quite a bit bigger,
Yeah.
with the plans to renovate. But then we got on to the property investing and we kind of took a bit of
To
a
the back burner.
diversion.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wonder, does that background in architecture and you wanting to be one originally, did that sort of play a part in wanting to get into the investment world?
Yes.
We've always
yeah,
wanted
we've
to,
always wanted to.
But we both didn't have the wages or the capacity, I think, to
Yeah.
do it when we were a bit younger. We knew we wanted to get into that developing world
Yeah.
or investing world,
Yeah.
but we just didn't quite have that
We didn't know-
financial
yeah.
backing.
Or the
behind
next
it.
step. We didn't know how to structure everything to get the financial backing or take that next step. But yeah, in architecture, I obviously meet with a lot of developers builders and everything. So it was always something, you work with a lot of builders and everything as well. So it was always something we were interested in and wanted to get involved in. But yeah, we didn't really know. We knew construction, but we didn't know how to take the step into property, which is, as we've come to realise, a completely different game.
different.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been members for now?
Only
In
6
May,
months.
6
Okay.
months.
So
Yeah.
very fresh into the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what was that first conversation of deciding to go down the investing path together? Like how did that come about?
So we were in Port Douglas in April.
Easter.
We read a couple of property books. We read Luke's property fit book, and we read another few other ones, and Luke kind of spoke the most to us, and we kind of resonated with him.
Yeah.
And he had a dog on his website.
Oh, Jackson.
That
yeah.
actually, we were like, yeah, let's contact them.
Yeah.
So that kind of won us over the line as well. But I don't know, he kind of spoke to us a bit, and we were at that point in our lives as well that we're kind of like, all right, we need to start doing something. We're both, on 6 figures now. We can afford to start using some play money, and we've got some equity built up from our personal home. So we need to use this and use it wisely, and we just need that person to take us.
We
to that
needed
next
a bit
step.
of accountability and a bit of guidance in a
Guidance.
way, because we knew, we want to either get into property investing or developing or renovating, whatever it may be, but we kind of needed someone to soundboard off that wasn't us two, that wasn't fully invested in it, and also that could just keep you accountable. Because for years we're like, we should do this, or maybe we should do this, but then you kind of vacillate between ideas.
So you do remember the moment you decided to seek guidance as opposed to try and just do it yourself,
was
which a lot of people try to do.
It was literally on the plane on the way home from Port Douglas,
We
because
wrote our
like I said,
10-year goal.
we read all these books. We liked Luke's the most because it just made the most sense to us. It was pretty clear. wrote our 10-year plan on the plane home and then called up the next day.
That's amazing.
We're like, let's just get this done.
Yeah. It's a great book. Like it really, even if you've got no knowledge and you come in with no knowledge, it's really quite easy to understand.
I think that's what it was. It was all the terms were really clear. It just made sense. You were kind of like, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So prior to being members then, and I'll ask you this separately, prior to being members, where would you say your knowledge was beforehand? Like, did you come in with quite a bit of knowledge? Did you know absolutely nothing at all? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you describe that? I'll start with you, Laura.
Well, there's what I thought I was prior and there's what I think I was now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think coming into it, I thought I was like a 5 or 6. I thought I knew a bit coming from my background. Now I reckon I was like at 2.
Okay.
Because like I said, we knew construction. It is completely different.
It's a different world,
it's
isn't
like,
it?
It's like construction's the back end, property's the front end, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
So I think also the more we learn, the more we realize we actually don't know so much stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually think I keep going down and being like, oh my God, I've got all this new step to learn. So as soon as I get up to one where I'm like, I've got this, I'm like, oh my God, there's all this other stuff
It ebbs
to learn.
and flows, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I definitely think I was probably like a 2 or 3, but thought I was a 5 or 6.
I love that honesty. Luke, what about you?
Yeah, I'd be in the same boat as Laura. I think I came in pretty confident. Like, I know what's up. I've been a tradie. I've been around. I've renovated hundreds of homes, other people's. I thought it was like a 6 or a 7, and then that quickly got shut down by Luke.
Yeah, he's good at that, isn't he?
He just annihilated us, which is good. We needed that, and Malika as well, which has been awesome.
There was a great conversation with Luke that we just went away from, and we went, wow, this is exactly what we needed.
He ripped us a new one in a good way.
In a great way,
via Zoom, and then we went back and like, I'm probably a 1 now. 1 or 2, and then now with Malika and Luke and having property ourselves now, I'm probably up to like a 3 or 4, but there's so much to go.
Yeah. And everything keeps changing as well, so you gotta try and
exactly.
And like we knew like depreciation, we thought like, oh, that's all there is, for example. But then there's so many different areas of depreciation and terms and stuff. Like we didn't know existed, so how were we meant to know?
Yeah, we didn't know what we didn't know. We kind of just thought, you buy properties and you build equity in them. We didn't know like all the different bits that come, different strategies and
isn't it an interesting moment when you realise,
it was literally that conversation with Luke and Malika, and we went home, and I think that just got us like kicked us into gear, and we went hard on learning what to do, read a lot of books. And,
how exciting though. So investing can be quite a big leap for a lot of people. Was there anything in particular you guys were worried about, or did you have concerns going into this? What were probably the biggest ones that stood out to you?
For me, it's probably trusting people. I'm so used to like doing everything myself and doing all the back end, the front end of my own business, and my own money, and then having that trust of putting it in other people's hands, of having that accountant and broker and advisor and mentor, that it was hard for me. I reckon that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But you kind of just got to let that go.
Yeah.
Trust the professionals. That's why they are what they are. And just go with it, really.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that.
I think similar, but I think I trust people a lot more quickly than Luke does. But mine was definitely, we were financially, pardon?
Yeah, a lot of fear.
Yeah, mine was fear around debt, which is definitely, I was thinking about this today. I was like, this is definitely something that my parents' generation are very like risk adverse. They don't like debt. Debt is bad.
Yeah.
And being brought up in a household where you own everything, like reframing that in your mind is so hard.
I know,
especially when you've been drilled into that. But I think like with the guidance of Malika, Luke, reading a lot of books on money and how you structure it, I think that alleviated a lot of the fear, because if you understand debt and how it can work in your favour, then it kind of takes away that fear. But obviously there's a lot of bad ways people use it.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't think that means that you should have fear for all of it. So mine was definitely around that and kind of, taking on a lot of debt.
Yeah. And we're not taught any of this in school. Exactly. So it's just completely... It's foreign information.
Yeah. And just even like leveraging money and different structures, I was like, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I did 8 years of uni and I didn't even get taught how to do any of this. So it's just crazy. But That was probably, the
Okay.
biggest fear.
So going on from that then, one of the first fundamental things that we teach is the 3 pillars of readiness. So in hindsight, which type of ready do you think you needed the most help with?
Education.
Education?
Yeah, I think it all came down to that, because I think in terms of financial...
Well, that's why we contacted you guys.
Yeah,
we're
we had
we're
the
financially ready.
Yeah.
in terms of having
We're ready to make some moves.
the money there to make the moves. And then what was the other one? It was emotional readiness.
Emotional
I think that
education,
we're nearly there. Like, we'd obviously made a plan. We had our goals. We were nearly there. We still needed a little bit of help with that. But it was definitely the education that got all of them over the line.
Yeah.
Like, I think without that, you can't really be emotionally ready.
It's interesting because a lot of people come in financially ready, or what they think is meant to be financially ready, just having the funds ready to go. But you're right, the emotional one, also the education one, tends to be the one that just gets you over the line. Exactly. The emotional one for me is really interesting because it's that, like, you got to sort of let go of a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was, we, in terms of the emotional, struggled with, or me personally, was nitpick, like, say, purchasing a property. I can't look at the design now in terms of investments, because that I get emotionally attached to and start thinking about.
Is that the
things
architect
that,
in you?
I start thinking
Why is
about.
the window so small?
Yeah, I'm like, that's bad for mental health, like all this stuff. And so I start, I just have to now completely look at it as a business, look at it just a numbers game, and take a step back. Like, we'll look at the floor plan briefly and be like, yeah, there's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, that works great in that area. But that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, were you kind of picturing yourself like, I wouldn't live in this, or like that wouldn't suit our
situation? Exactly. And I think I really had to take a step back and not nitpick. Which was hard. But I think we got there quite quick. As soon as I looked at it as a business, it was different.
Yeah. Luke's always saying that, treat it like a business. It just separates yourself from it. No, exactly.
Yeah.
So where's your portfolio now? How's that tracking along?
So we've got 2 investment properties now. One just got a tenant in it yesterday or today.
Yesterday.
And the other one's getting built up in Airlie Beach, so that should be ready.
It'll be settled mid-January.
Mid-January.
Amazing.
February.
And how did it go handing over that first deposit?
That was hard. We were umming and ahhing. Like, it goes back to the trust. Do I trust these people? Are we making the right decision?
Yeah.
And
triple check it. You're like,
check.
oh my God, is this the right
BSB? Look at my phone, look at Laura, do the clicks. And that was interesting, but had to be done.
Yeah.
I remember that leaving the bank account being like, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money gone.
For an investment, not like your personal home.
Yeah.
So, that'd be scary for anyone. And how did the second one feel?
I was driving down Chapel Street and I just did it, on a whim.
I think I texted you saying we owed the deposit, and I texted you the details.
I didn't even think twice. Like, it's just now.
We have so much trust in the team now that it's like we're
making the right decision.
Exactly.
Didn't even.
And the money's going to the right place. So
that's it's a big moment.
A big leap. Yeah. I also think going through the process first time, you learn that if little hiccups happen, you can fix it. Like, everything is generally fixable. So I think that you learn that as well. Like, I remember when we first purchased it, if something was wrong in the contract, I'd call up and be like, oh my God, this is wrong. Like, this is spelt incorrectly, and freak out like it was the worst thing in the world.
Right.
And then the second one, I'm kind of like, yeah, my name is spelt wrong, but that's
cool. It doesn't matter, I know it's me.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that you put your trust in the process and realize that,
And obviously before all that, you've been through enough education and enough coaching calls with your mentor that you have to go in a little bit more ready than you would at the start anyway. Exactly. But of course there's going to be those bits of fear.
Yeah.
Because you've just not done it before. That's all it is.
I think that's what it is. It's the unknown and not knowing if you're stuffing something up or... Yeah. But from all the coaching calls with Malika, I mean, you build up a lot of... resilience to risk now and be like, it's fine. What can go so bad?
And so what would you guys say has been the biggest challenge so far? You might have already mentioned it before, but, that could be individually or together.
Well, now we've got the 2 properties and we've used all our
capital
and equity and stuff. Our next challenge is yet to come, I guess. It's seeing what our next move is for the next 18 to 24 months.
Okay.
And how we can structure our businesses and our portfolio and our personal homes to work in our favour and get to that 3rd, 4th, 5th investment property. So, and then working closely with Mario, the experts in
Yep.
accounting, and our broker, Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what we need to do
Yeah.
to get those next steps. Like, I know Laura's got uni debt, which we need to try wipe, because that's...
Which everyone thinks is, heck's fine.
Yeah.
It actually affects your borrowing capacity
Affects
quite a
it.
lot. Yeah. I guess having that team has helped because they kind of look at the macro view of where you're at and they go, fix this and it'll help you in 6 months, fix that. When we've got the team in place, they can structure it from the start. So it's quite good that we can say, where do we want to be in 2 years? We want to buy another, say, 2 properties. What do we do now so we can get to that point? Even though,
Get
the
to
next
A to
2
B,
years
we're
we
not so
can't
far away.
buy anything. Yeah, how much do we need to earn? And then it's kind of like you've got a path. That you can go on.
Yeah. I know a lot of self-employed people or small business owners have trouble with that. And I couldn't think of anything worse than doing that without a team of experts behind me to guide me through that, because that would just be the biggest headache.
Yeah, it would be. I feel like if we didn't have this team now, we wouldn't be able to structure it correctly. You luckily did it on your own. It was structured a little bit funny and Mario helped you fix that.
Yeah.
But so much easier.
So you came in as, you say, a 2 in hindsight. You said about the same, 2 or 3 in hindsight?
I was at 1 at once.
1? Okay. Oh, sorry, 1 after talking to Luke. Yep,
I
Luke.
think when we left it, we're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
We thought we knew so much.
Don't worry, a few people go through that. Where would you say you're at now with it?
I reckon a 5.
Yeah, I want to say like a 3 because I just know there's so much to learn.
Yeah, I think a
Like,
5 with where we're
from-
at.
From 1 to 3 is a huge
In
gap.
6 months, that's a big gap.
Like, we've grown a lot
Yeah,
as for education and personally,
yeah.
but I still find there's a lot to go, and
I'm sure I'll go
there's
back
going to
to
be a lot
it.
more roadblocks and learning to go, which is it's great. We always
Yeah.
got to learn.
Yeah, you'll ask me next time and I'll be like, I was actually a 1. And now
Yeah, and that's okay.
yeah. But it's good. It's good. It means
Yeah.
there's a new challenge.
I don't even think like anyone will ever get to a 10.
Yeah, I think if you get to a 10, that's a bit delusional.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can't get to a 10 in life.
Well,
There's
everything
always new
keeps
things.
changing again, so
Yeah.
it's sort of hard to be
And
a
that's
10.
kind of boring if you
Yeah.
become a 10.
Maybe you become a 10 for like an hour and then something changes, so you've got to go
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, what's your biggest overall goal with your investing?
I guess what most people come in and say is financial freedom. We love our work, so we kind of always want to be doing something in those fields, but being able to do it because you love it and not because you're like, I have these mortgage payments or I've got to pay for this bill. Being able to, get up, choose the clients you love, do activities you love, travel. And we also have always had the goal to build our dream house. So obviously with what we do. So we want to build a house by the beach somewhere.
Amazing.
Probably in like 10 years. We're quite realistic about how long that will take.
Okay,
But that's kind of the 2 big goals.
Yeah,
I'd
like
say.
everyone, or most people, passive income and financial freedom. But I know like we're both pretty driven in our careers, so I know I'm still going to be working 40, 50 hours a week plus, but whether that's on a laptop in Airlie Beach or Vietnam or America, and I have all those systems in place where it can work in the background, then that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, we don't have kids now, but could be in the future. So we want to, set it up so we're not working 60 hours and I'm missing birthdays and stuff.
Yeah. Set it up so you get to enjoy life and all the moments. So
that's the dream,
kind of
isn't
the goal.
it?
Exactly. That's the goal.
So guys, just to wrap up, what do you think's been your favourite thing that you've learned about investing with the Property Mentor? So that could have been something that you wanted to know more about when you started with us, or something that completely new that you were surprised to find out about?
Probably new homes and the tax deductions is probably the biggest thing for us.
Yeah,
because we
that
came
is.
in with a pretty clear mind that, because of our jobs, we want to buy in maybe like country Victoria or somewhere like that.
Geelong or something.
Yeah, somewhere we could renovate, flip it.
Oh, so something established.
That we could, renovate, use our skills, go up there for the week and renovate or subdivide, develop. And same thing, Luke kind of said, no, this is what we need to do. Focus on your careers. And are you really going to go Friday night for 2-hour drive up to the country, renovate all weekend and then come back and work
be
a whole nother
absolutely
week?
exhausted.
Yeah.
He made a great point because it's like, late 20s, early 30s, are we going to spend all our weekends doing this
Yeah.
to maybe make like, I don't know how much
Yeah.
you'd flip it for, say like $50,000 to $100,000, when you could be having something happening in the background and working on your business. So
Yeah.
it did change something for us. That is definitely something.
And Malika wanted us to have some workhorses in the background, some new homes or home or apartment, whatever, that we didn't have to do any maintenance. It was there. It did its thing.
Yeah.
It got rent in, and it kept going, build equity,
Yeah.
and did its thing in the background. We didn't have to touch it or kind of do any work on it. So that was kind of a big eye-opener for us.
Yeah,
and the tax
definitely.
deductions that you can get from new homes
Yeah.
Yeah.
was huge. And why would you want to pay the government?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So if we can use it to our advantage, then absolutely we're going to do that. So that was our biggest
Yeah, learning
learning.
depreciation and how that's
Yeah.
all structured definitely was
And
one of the-
having separate trusses for different homes, and having a trust for my business, having a trust for Laura's business, and setting all that correctly from the start was
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And we've got that set up now, so we can keep moving forward, which has been a big
Yeah.
learning curve.
I think, yeah, and I think also how to like strategically plan out the next 10 years. Because I mean, we had that plan coming into it that I said we wrote on the plane.
Yeah.
But I think that when we sat down with Malika and went down like in more detail, we could work backwards about how we actually did it. Like, I don't think we thought about, oh yeah, in 10 years we want to build a house by the beach that could cost X amount of dollars. But how on earth do we get there? Like,
Yeah.
How do we get from A to B?
how do we get
What's
from
in
A to
between?
B? Flipping houses in Ballarat probably isn't going to get you there. So
No.
I think that, yeah, working through a really strong strategy,
Yeah.
that was probably the best thing that I learned, and really getting into the little details. And I think something Malika also taught me was to think a bit bigger, because we had goals in whenever it was, May, and we kind of hit all of them by October. And I think that, I don't know if we were
Just
being a
having
bit
her there,
conservative,
though.
but yeah, having her accountable, like,
Every week she'd be like, have you bought another van? Have you done this?
have you
got
asked
a
for your pay rise? Like, everything.
Just someone outside of ourselves asking you those hard questions. and,
Yeah.
we're the one that's written it down.
Yeah.
And then she's asking us back. I'm like, oh,
It's great. Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't want to
better
disappoint
go buy
Malika.
another
Yeah.
van. Yeah.
That's the best thing about
It's
the
the
mentoring
best.
is that you're still in control
Yes.
as the
Yeah.
investors.
Yeah.
They're just there to give you the best advice that they think, and then, you know, whether you take it or not, it's up
Yeah.
to you, but they really do hold you accountable.
I know.
They really
and
push you.
Exactly. And that's what I think we thrive with, is being, because we have goals, we've got things we want to do, but I think the accountability is like when you've told someone you're going to do something, we don't really want to disappoint them or go
Yeah,
back
you're
on
more
it. Or,
likely
like,
to do it.
Yeah, we're really bad at like being like, oh no, I gave up or I failed on that. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, we're really bad. So I think that having Malika there is like, oh, okay, I better
Yeah.
go do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the pay rise, I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And I think having a mentor there was so helpful with
Yeah.
that. Especially because Luke's been telling me for ages, but I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And then having Malika, and she's like, so did you do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, did you look up this? And did you write this? I'm like, okay.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in today and chatting with me. Malika has actually been raving about how you guys have achieved all of your goals for this year. So we were absolutely thrilled to have you on today to hear
Thanks.
about your story. I wish you all the best in the future. It sounds like you're on the best investing journey so far. And we'll have to do a catch up and see where you are with
Yeah.
buy
Yeah.
properties. Yeah.
Yeah. 5, 10, 20.
Yeah,
Let's keep
let's
going.
do it. Let's do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
If you found this episode or any of our episodes helpful, please make sure to share and leave a rating to help us reach more people on their investing journeys. And of course, subscribe to be notified when new episodes drop. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at Investor Intelligence Podcast. You can find links to our other socials in the show notes, including a link to the Property Mentors weekly blog. If you're ready to get your property portfolio in shape for financial freedom, check out Luke's latest book, Property Fit. You can get yourself a copy at www.propertyfitbook.com.au.